Welcome to Quality Conversations with the Barbados Accreditation Council. I am Lisa Gale, Executive Director of the Barbados Accreditation Council, and here with me is Dr. Kazmi, Dean of the American University of Barbados. We will be discussing his journey with accreditation with the Barbados Accreditation Council. Dr. Kazmi, good to see you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Tell me a little bit about the American University of Barbados.
The American University of Barbados started in 2011. We started in Wilde, and it was September 2011 when we had our first batch. There were very few students, only 6 students. They started in the beginning, and since that time, the number of students, they started to increase with time. And by 2014, we were having more than 100 students, around 115 students. And that place in Wilde, that was not enough. So AUB moved to Lansdowne, Silver Sands.
Yes.
And it was just on the beach. There were like 6 to 8 blocks, and a good place for a small school at that time. And students and faculty, they were really loving that area. By 2017, the number of students, they increased to more than 350 students.
Yes.
And that was the time that we thought that we need to go to a bigger place.
Yes.
Very important thing happened at that time during 2016 was that there were some changes in the management.
Yes.
And that changes the inclusion of our directors, Mr. Mohsen Ali Khan, the chairman,
Yes.
and Mr. Misam Ali Khan and Dr. Fazana Mehdi, and very proactive management. And they actually already have a medical school in Lucknow, India,
Yes.
and a hospital there also. So when they took over, and they were very interested that the school should grow in a real way, and so we shifted here in 2017. And this place is more than 11 acres of land, and have 3 blocks, A, B, and C block.
Yes.
And this block where we are here right now, it is having an admission office, the staff offices, 10 lecture rooms, 3 big labs, and this is one of the labs, the
This
anatomy
beautiful
lab that
anatomy
we are
lab,
in here
yes.
right now, and
Yes.
the anatomy section separately,
Yes.
and the rooms for the faculty and other. The second block that we are having is that is having a big library there with thousands
Yes.
of books there, and also an auditorium and the examination hall as well. We have more than 100 computers there, and more than 100 students can give examination at one
At
time.
one time. Very good.
The third block, which is the tallest one, it is the top 3 floors are the accommodation for the students, and there are a lot other big, larger lecture rooms and others which are being renovated there, and to accommodate any increase in number of students.
Very good. Could you tell me quickly what is the role, the role of the student population currently?
Currently, it is more than 400 students.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. Good stuff. My second question has to do with the accreditation journey. Of course, you would have become registered with the Barbados Accreditation Council. So tell us a little bit about your experience with the Barbados Accreditation Council as you moved to institutional accreditation.
Yeah, the process was it was challenging, definitely, and it was not easy.
Yes.
But it was very important for us because we were based here in Barbados, and we really wanted that we are recognized by the accrediting body of the land. Okay,
Yes.
and as I just mentioned, regarding our directors. They went through the process of accreditation for their institutions in India, and they have a vast experience in that. And so as soon as I still remember the day me and Dr. Vasankar, who is Assistant Dean of Accreditation, we went to BSc in 2017. Actually, we got the registration in 2013 for 3 years, and we went there to renew the registration. That was my first time I went to BSc, and there was some document which were missing at that time, and the experience was very good because as soon as we submitted the documents, and BSc members at that time, they were really happy that we are really serious and we want to move forward.
Yes.
And there came the accreditation thing, and we discussed with our management, and we had a meeting with our faculty and staff, and everybody was very excited that yes, do it, because we knew that we have the capability to do it. We have all the things in place, and if we work on it, we'll be able to do it. And BSc required us to do the candidacy status first, and we applied for it, and by the end of 2017 we got the candidacy status, and then we move out to the accreditation. We made the teams, different committees to deal with different things that were required by the accreditation body. It was definitely new for both of us, for BSc and for AUB as well. Learning curve for both, but more steeper for AUB. And it went really well. The process was superb. Especially the members of the BSc, they were really helpful, not only at that time, now also. And throughout the way, we were coordinating with them that how we should place different things to meet the requirements of BSc.
Accreditation is really to ensure that you meet certain standards, not minimum standards. Now these are standards of governance to do with teaching and learning, institution, etc. And the specific accreditation that the Barbados Accreditation gives is institutional accreditation. And I know that as a medical school, you would also want to have programmatic accreditation. And of course, within our rules and regulations, we ask that in order for you to re-register, you have to be at least provisionally accredited with the CAMHP, which is the regional body for accreditation. Could you tell us a little bit about your experience with CAMHP?
We had a very good experience with CAMHP as well, and we got accredited by CAMHP first time as well. We were a young school. Usually the schools who were accredited before by CAMHP, they were older schools. But we were young, but as
new and developing is the term
exactly.
that
We were developing school at that time. And we actually, as you said, the CAMHP is basically the program accreditation, and but there are things which overlap. They also go for the institutional things as well. Similarly, for BSc as well, they are mainly for institutional accreditation, but they also look at the programs as well. So the things from both sides, the information that we got from both sides, from BSc also regarding the program, and the information regarding institution from CAMHP, we were able to improve those things, and that helped us a lot to meet the requirements of BSc as well as CAMHP.
Okay. So in terms of setting up your committees for quality, putting in a quality management system, etc., all of that took place in the process of what time period, could I ask?
Yeah, at the same time. Initially we got the accreditation with BSc, and then immediately we went for the accreditation for CAMHP. Although at that time our students were going to US and appearing in STEPS, USMLE examination, and as you know that the CAMHP is the regulatory body
Yes.
in the Caribbean, and the students who are studying, going through the MD program in the Caribbean, they mainly go to US,
Yes.
and they are trying to enter into the residency program.
Yes.
So US also want that the medical education in the Caribbean is standardized.
Of course.
So they mentioned that after 2024,
Yes.
the institution which are not accredited by CAMHP, the student will not be able to appear in USMLE, their licensing exam.
Yes.
And we had time at that we can
Prepare
prepare and other. But as I said, the management immediately jumped into it and say, yes, we have everything. Let's go for the accreditation with CAMHP. And we went through that exercise. It was it was thorough for sure, and for certain, and we were able to get it.
I think the foresight of the management of the AUB would have, of course, been instrumental as well in allowing you to be able to meet those particular standards for accreditation, both programmatic and institutional, and I commend you for that.
Exactly.
If I look through the files and I see what's going on with the American University of Barbados, y'all were the first medical school in Barbados to be accredited with the Barbados Accreditation Council.
Yeah.
And that's complimentary. That's
Thank you
good.
so much.
That's
Thank
good.
you.
Commendable.
Yeah.
Yes. Dr. Kazmi, as you shared about the accreditation process and the journey that would have taken place at the American University of Barbados, I am sure that you would have encountered some challenges along the way. Accreditation is indeed something of a large magnitude kind of step. And in so doing, you have a lot to do. It calls on your institution to be peer-reviewed. It calls on your institution to be seen by others outside. One of the things the Barbados Accreditation Council has to do is to bring in our external evaluators. And in so doing, we get to see a little bit more. We ask you a lot of questions. You have to bring in a lot of documentation, etc. And follow through because the accreditation process in its thorough nature allows you as well to improve in your processes and the students by nature benefit as a result. Tell me about the challenges that would have been encountered at your university.
Yeah, the one of the important challenges were that it was new for everybody because we were the first institute to be applied for accreditation with BSc and also for BSc as well because they were going to accredit a medical school for the first time and so as it was new for both, when we went through the process, definitely both of us grew with that. And the main challenge was the information, the directions were there for the accreditation, but specifically for a medical school, it was not there exactly for a medical school. So we worked really hard with the members of BSc at that time, and we were in contact with them regularly.
Constantly,
We were regularly meeting with them, and any issues that were there, we were together to solve it out. And that was one of the best things that happened at that time. As you know, the school was not old; it was new.
It was new.
The school was also new, and because of that, the faculty, we have to get all the faculty, the staff, everybody on board, and the number of faculty was not like we are having now at that time also, and so it was a little challenging at that time to get everybody on board and go with this accreditation process, and but we as we moved through the process, everybody became more and more confident, and they knew that we are doing it in a better way and will be able to get it. Another thing that was there was the information. The other thing that was there was the information, the retrospective information at that time. Yes, the information was there, but to pull it out and to amalgamate them and to present to BAC, that was the challenge, and we went through with the help of the committees and the staff, and they were working. They worked. They were not like only during the time of the day here. They were working late hours, and everybody was in it actually at that time. They were really excited. At the time, person, they were really excited that we will be able to do that. It is very important for a school to see where they stand.
Yes.
And when we were going through that, we really knew what we have to offer to our students and to the community. Yes.
I think as you explain the challenges, and you also caused me to reflect, the Barbados Accreditation Council is now in its 17th year. And in 2016-17, going through the process of its first accreditation with a medical school, particularly an offshore medical school. Of course, there would have been some teething problems even within our own institution. And I'm sure that you're saying now that the staff complement of the BAC was working with you, they were assisting, they were responsive, they were, going through and then you also mentioned that the rules and regulations were not necessarily specific to a medical school, but to an institution. Because again, we might not have envisaged at that time that we would have been accrediting a medical school. So I'm glad that you had that experience and it was a positive one, even although you had yourself some challenges.
Yes, definitely it was very positive.
Yes. Now, fast forward to a few years hence, and we had a global crisis. We had a global pandemic. We had COVID-19, coronavirus. What was that for? How was that for the American University of Barbados? And could you tell me a little bit about that in and of itself?
This COVID-19, not only AUB, it was devastating for the world. COVID-19 actually tested us for different things, financially, our viability, everything.
Yes.
And we went through really, really well. A lot of schools, they struggled, but we did really well during the COVID.
Yes.
Not only that, we saw that we are very stable financially. We improved a lot in it.
Okay.
The first thing that happened during that time was that we were communicating with our faculty, staff, and students.
Yes.
And we allowed them that they can go to their home country, or they can come here, because we knew that there are going to be restrictions for the flights and this and that. So we were communicating with them. The second thing that we saw at that time was that we knew that we have to shift to online teaching. And not only online teaching, we have to go for assessments as well, which is going to be online. So we trained our faculty, and they went through the workshops and others to see how they are going to teach online, and they will be able to be more beneficial for the student. Student also, they were informed that this is how it's going to be, and this is how you'll be able to get the information, and so that the information which is given to them is useful for them as well.
Yes.
So what we did, we used different softwares, the Flip Classrooms and other thing, and also specifically for assessment, we were actually using the ExamSoft before COVID also, and that with the online, yes, we were doing online, but we also got the software that is Exam Integrity. With that, what happens was that the students were able to give examination from their home, and when they were giving examination, they were monitored, and the video was made by that software, and ExamSoft is using that through the third party, and there was some instructions to the student that they regarding the lighting and this and what they can do, and there should be no noise and this and that. And that was really, really helpful for us. If there was anything that student was doing which was not required, it was red flagged. And we can have the information, like student is doing 50 minutes of examination, and we will get the information that from minute 37 to 39 this activity happens, and we can only get that portion of it, and we can see. So our committee, they were sitting down and they were looking at those things, and that all of this that we did was really helpful, that there was no waste of time for our student. That was the most important thing. The students who come into our MD program, they are very focused. They want to complete the program in time. They want to start their residency. Because they are going for the residency, they have to compete with all the other doctors which are foreign medical graduates from all over the world. So they are very focused. They don't want to waste a single second. And we did all of this for them so that there is no wastage of time. And we did not waste a single day. On top of that, we also got other softwares like 145. That was the software with which we were able to schedule and monitor and feedback the students which were rotating in the hospitals as well. And we also bought the Anatomage and others. And not only that, we went through that very well, we were able to purchase also a lot of stuff, softwares and other things.
Very good. So it looks as though COVID was a positive. That's what I'm deducing from what you have just shared.
Definitely, yes.
Yes, good stuff. I understand that you also modified your plan, or you were able to modify your plan during the COVID time and maintain your accreditation standards. That's very positive. I also noticed that in the white coat ceremony, you seem to have had, whether incremental or small, but you had an increase in the number of awards that were given to students.
Yes, because we actually continued the awards and other assistance to the students as well. Because we saw that the students, some of the students, they were in difficulty financially as well as mentally.
As a result of COVID specifically.
Yes, specifically because some of the families, they have some issues during the COVID, and at that time we continued with our psychologist, and she was in contact with the students all the time, and she was assisting the student online, and some of the students who wanted to have face-to-face, we made some arrangement according to the rules and regulations of Barbados, and they were able to meet them. Also, our clinic, some of the students who were having some issues, our resident physician was always there to help them. And that was very important at that time to help students to come out of this. And that was really important thing for us to do for the students, and students were really appreciative of that things that we did at that time. Also, the accommodation. We had some restrictions on the student to go out. We fixed some timings that they can go out during the daytime, and that really helped us a lot. There was not a single case during that COVID period in our hostel that even one of the students got infected. No. We also managed that these students, they are able to get proper vaccination in time, and they were vaccinated as well.
Very good. Could I ask you then to, within the context of COVID and the BAC and the maintenance of the accreditation standard, etc., how was that? And was there any challenge, or was there any positive as a result of COVID and the BAC and your relationship with the BAC?
Yeah, the main thing that changes that we happened during that time was the modification for teaching, as I mentioned earlier, and the assessment. Along with that, we have to modify our policies as well regarding the infectious disease and others due to COVID. We continue to work on our the process because we knew we were accredited before the CAMHP, and we were going to have the review, the mid-cycle review
Yes.
in 2022. So we were
Yes.
actively working on that. And most importantly, during this COVID, we were in contact with BSc, and BSc also asked us what we did
What
during
changes? Yes.
what changes we did during this COVID-19, and we updated BSc that these are the different things that we are doing during the COVID-19, and they were happy with that improvement and things that were put in place for COVID-19.
Okay. Thank you so very much for telling us about this COVID experience and the challenges. What would you say would be the benefits of being accredited with the Barbados Accreditation Council?
Yeah, that's very important. The most important thing is to be well known, recognition, and it's not like it's a small school in a small island and nobody knows about it. Initially, when we started, we were not very well known, and since we got accredited by BSc, people started to ask that what is AUB and what are the programs, and since then a lot of people they know now about our program and the institution. Also, when we went through the BSc, it made our program stronger.
Yes.
Because we knew now that the country where we are in, where we are based, that the accreditation body of that country recognizes us.
Yes.
We are at par with the standard of that accreditation body, and as you all know, the Barbados is very particular about the education system, and it's very well known all over the world, and we are very happy that we went through this exercise.
Yes.
And we got accreditation, and that was very helpful for us to improve our program. Also, regarding the students, the student confidence that increases. They become more focused. The students and their parents, they have more trust now that they know this is an accredited institutions, okay, and they are happy to send their kids here to study. Not only the student, the faculty also, when they're working here,
Yes.
they know it is an accredited school, and the work that they're doing here is worth it, and
Yes.
there are a lot of application now that we receive, that the people who are interested to work here, and it's like the government of the land, they after we got accreditation of BSc, they also realized that they also was able to recognize that yes, this is the institution which
Yes.
is here. And one of the thing, if you see that the government, they allow us to get this property, and it's this property is a hallmark of Barbados for decades, and eyesight of everybody, and to have the trust of the government that we are from here, we are not going to go anywhere, and we are to stay, and trust of the government on us, and that is really important. And due to this accreditation, we got all these things.
So I think that is about 4 things: visibility, increased number of students, the trust of government, and more persons coming and calling. And then, of course, ease of doing business because you've been able to get through because of your government
all
stamp.
stakeholders.
So there is a benefit to being accredited with the Barbados Accreditation Council.
Definitely. Yes.
So then, by extension, would you recommend the Barbados Accreditation Council to any other body that wants to improve their quality?
Yes, definitely, I will. And I think like any school who is operating here in Barbados, they should be accredited with BSc. although it might not be mandated with the government, but like how would you know that whatever you're doing, whatever your program is aligned with the requirement of the land? This is the only way you can do it.
Helps you to improve your curriculum, respond to students in a better way, liaise better with your faculty. There are benefits. Yeah,
definitely. All these things will come. All the institutions, they should evaluate themselves. It's not easy. It's going to be challenging, definitely, specifically for the new schools who want to be accredited with BSc, but it is doable.
Yes.
And they must do it. When they are going to go through the process, then they will really know where they stand. It's important for everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kazmi, from the Dean of the American University of Barbados. It has been a pleasure talking to you and hearing about your journey with the Barbados Accreditation Council in the form of accreditation.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you.
And I would really like to appreciate the efforts, all the efforts put in by the BSc from the very beginning up till now. And recently we have the mid-cycle review, and the way the BSc has helped us, you and all the other members, and we are really thankful to BSc.
Thank you, Dr. Kazmi. It was my pleasure. This is where we have quality conversations at the Barbados Accreditation Council, your gateway to global recognition.